Welcome to Jay Leno's garage. Now I love cars. I love the classics, the muscle cars, the sleek sports cars. But you know what else I love? The weird stuff. The cars that make you scratch your head and say, what were they thinking? Today we're diving into the bizarre and fascinating world of the strangest cars ever made. We're talking about vehicles so unusual, so out there, that you'll swear we made them up. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. All right, folks, let's kick things off with a car that's smaller than some refrigerators. This is the Peel P50, and it's officially the smallest production car ever made. This little fella was built in the 1960s on the Isle of Man, and it's basically a motorcycle with an extra wheel and a roof. Now, you're not going to find power steering or a booming sound system in this thing. Heck, it doesn't even have a reverse gear. You actually have to get out and physically pick it up to move it backwards. Can you imagine doing that in a tight parking spot at the supermarket? You'd get some looks, that's for sure. But you know what? There's something charming about the Peel P50. It's so impractical, so ridiculous that you can't help but smile when you see it. It's a reminder that cars don't always have to be big and powerful to be cool. Sometimes the strangest ideas are the most fun. The Peel P50 measures just 54 inches long and 39 inches wide, weighing only 130 pounds. It has a top speed of about 38 miles per hour and runs on a 49cc engine. Despite its size, it has a single door, one headlight, and a single windshield wiper. From one tiny car to another, we come to the BMW Isetta. Now, this little bubble car might look like something out of a cartoon, but it was a big hit in post-war Europe. See, after World War II, people needed affordable transportation, and the Isetta, with its tiny engine and low price tag, fit the bill. The most striking thing about the Isetta is that single front-opening door. That's right, to get in, you don't open a door on the side, you open the entire front of the car. It's like walking into a phone booth on wheels. And once you're inside, you're pretty much sitting shoulder to shoulder with your passenger. Talk about a cozy ride. But hey, the Isetta was all about practicality and efficiency. It may not have been the fastest or most spacious car on the road, but it got the job done and brought a little bit of whimsy to the streets. Plus, can you imagine trying to parallel park this thing? You could fit it in a space the size of a shoebox. Ever dream of just driving your car straight into the water and setting sail? Well, that's exactly what the Amphicar Model 770 lets you do. This amphibious vehicle was marketed as the car that swims, and it caused quite a stir when it debuted in the 1960s. Now, the Amphicar wasn't exactly a speed demon on land or in the water. It had a top speed of about 7 knots, which is roughly 8 miles per hour. So you weren't going to win any races in this thing, but that wasn't really the point, was it? The Amphicar was all about the novelty of being able to drive from the road straight into a lake or river. Imagine taking this thing to the lake on a hot summer day. You could pull right up to your favorite fishing spot, no boat required. Of course, you might want to pack a life jacket just in case, and maybe a bilge pump, because let's be honest, these things weren't exactly known for their watertight seals. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next car looks like it flew straight out of a science fiction movie. This is the Messerschmitt KR200, and it was designed by the same company that built fighter planes for Germany during World War II. Now, after the war, Messerschmitt wasn't allowed to build planes anymore, so they turned their attention to something a little more grounded. The KR200 was a 3-wheeled microcar that was designed to be cheap and fuel-efficient. It had a single door on the front that opened up like a cockpit canopy and a tandem seating arrangement that put the passenger directly behind the driver. It was basically a motorcycle with a roof and a little extra protection from the elements. Now, you might think that a car designed by an aircraft manufacturer would be fast, but the KR200 wasn't exactly a rocket. It had a top speed of around 55 miles per hour, and it took a while to get there. But what it lacked in speed, it made up for in uniqueness. Driving a KR200 was like piloting a tiny spaceship down the road, and it definitely turned heads wherever it went. Now here's a car that was way ahead of its time. This is the Stout Scarab, and it's often considered to be the first minivan ever made. That's right, folks. Back in the 1930s, William B. Stout had a vision for a spacious, comfortable vehicle that could carry a whole family and their luggage. And he called it the Scarab. Now, the Scarab wasn't exactly a looker. It had a rounded, aerodynamic body that looked like a cross between a loaf of bread and a beetle. But what it lacked in traditional good looks, it made up for in innovation. The Scarab had a rear-mounted Ford V8 engine, independent suspension on all four wheels, and a spacious interior with movable seats that could be arranged in a variety of configurations. Unfortunately, the Scarab was just too far ahead of its time. It was expensive to produce, and the public just wasn't ready for a car that looked like it came from the future. Only 9 Scarabs were ever built, and they're now highly sought-after collector's items. Okay, folks, it's time to talk about the Reliant Robin, a car that's as famous for its instability as it is for its unique 3-wheeled design. This British-built vehicle was a common sight on UK roads for decades, and it's become something of a cult classic, even if it's not always for the right reasons. The Robin's claim to fame, or infamy, is its tendency to tip over, especially when taking corners at anything above a snail's pace. With 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back, it doesn't take much to send a Robin into a roll, and countless comedic scenes in movies and TV shows have been built around this very concept. But hey, let's give the Robin some credit. It was cheap to buy, surprisingly spacious inside, and incredibly fuel efficient. Plus, you only needed a motorcycle license to drive one in the UK, which made it an appealing option for those who couldn't afford a traditional car. Just maybe take it easy on those roundabouts, all right? Get ready to have your minds blown, folks, because the Citroën DS is like nothing you've ever seen before. This French masterpiece debuted in 1955 and immediately became a sensation for its futuristic design, innovative technology, and out-of-this-world styling. Seriously, this thing looks like it landed on Earth from a distant planet. The DS was way ahead of its time in terms of both design and engineering. It featured a revolutionary hydropneumatic suspension system that gave it an incredibly smooth ride, even on bumpy roads. It also had power steering, disc brakes, and a sleek aerodynamic body that was unlike anything else on the road. But what really set the DS apart was its unique futuristic design. With its streamlined body, covered rear wheels, and distinctive shark fin antenna, the DS looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie rather than a dealership showroom. It was a car that turned heads wherever it went and cemented Citroën's reputation for innovation and daring design. Okay, time to address the elephant in the room, or should I say the Aztec in the garage. The Pontiac Aztec is a car that's often cited as one of the ugliest cars ever made. And you know what? I'm not going to argue with that. It's a face only a mother could love, and even then, she might need a blindfold. But you know what? There's something oddly endearing about the Aztec's, shall we say, unconventional looks. It's like that friend we all have who's got a unique sense of style that doesn't always work, but you can't help but admire their confidence. The Aztec was trying to be different, to break the mold, and you got to respect that, even if the execution left a little to be desired. Plus, the Aztec wasn't all bad. It was actually quite practical, with a spacious interior, versatile cargo space, and a built-in tent option for all you adventurous types. It's just a shame that they wrapped all that practicality in a package that looked like it was designed by a committee of people who'd never seen a car before. Ever wished your car could double as a mascot for a French bakery? Well then, the Nissan S-Cargo is the car for you. This little van was designed to resemble a snail, complete with eyes on the windshield and a curved roof that looks like a shell. It's quirky, it's cute, and it's guaranteed to make you smile wherever you go. Now, the S-Cargo wasn't designed for speed or off-road adventures. It was intended as a city car, perfect for navigating narrow streets and squeezing into tight parking spaces. And with its tiny size and adorable looks, it was a hit in Japan, where it was sold exclusively. Sadly, the S-Cargo was only produced for 2 years, from 1989 to 1991. But in that short time, it made a big impact, proving that cars don't have to be serious to be fun. It's a reminder that sometimes a little bit of whimsy is all you need to brighten up your day. We're finishing our journey through automotive strangeness with a car that's as mysterious as it is unique. This is the Tatra 603, a Czechoslovakian limousine that was produced from the 1950s to the 1970s, primarily for high-ranking Communist Party officials. Now, this car is a head-scratcher for a number of reasons. First off, there's the design. It's got that distinctive aerodynamic look that was popular in the 1950s, but with a twist. The Tatra 603 features a rear-mounted air-cooled V8 engine, which explains the car's rather bulbous rear end. It's like they took a classic American sedan and grafted a Volkswagen Beetle onto the back. Then there's the whole Communist Party connection. The Tatra 603 was a symbol of power and prestige in a country where most people were driving tiny utilitarian cars. It was a rolling reminder of the divide between the haves and the have-nots. Today, the Tatra 603 is a rare and fascinating glimpse into a bygone era. It's a car that's both strange and beautiful, and it's a reminder that automotive history is full of surprises. Well, there you have it, folks. A wild ride through the world of strange and unusual cars. From the tiny PLP50 to the amphibious amphicar, we've seen it all today. These cars might not be everyone's cup of tea, but they're a reminder that the automotive world is full of surprises, and that sometimes the most unconventional ideas are the most interesting. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the strangest cars in the world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating automotive content. See you next time on Jay Leno's Garage.